Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and I am super excited to bring you a brand new filter. This one is a Sicce Shark Pro Nano. They come in a couple different sizes. This one happens to be the 320. It's an internal canister filter that is going to potentially have some advantages that other types of filters don't have. And the reason why I'm doing this review, a while back, about 6 months ago or so, I had a 40-gallon breeder. It was a quarantine tank. I put about 50 red tail botia in that tank, and they stirred up everything on the sand, and the water looked horrible. I put in one of the Shark internal canister filters, and that tank was spotless the next day. I was really impressed by that filter, and so I want to go over what we're going to be seeing here. Again, this might be a really viable alternative to a sponge filter, to a hang-on back. All right, so first things first, this filter is good for up to a 20-gallon aquarium, and it is going to filter around 85 gallons per hour, so you're going to get a lot of throughput there. Let me go ahead and show you what the filter actually looks like. So I guess the first thing is, for a 20-gallon tank, this is a really nice alternative. As you can see here, it's not big, it's not going to take up a lot of space. It has 3 filtration compartments, and taking them apart is that easy. And we have some manufacturer supplied media. This is a carbon infused sponge. This second one here, this has a sponge as well, and then we've got some 30 ppi sponge in here, and so all of this is designed to trap all of your mechanical filtration, trap your detritus in the water. It's also going to house beneficial bacteria. If you wanted, you could pull one of these sponges out and put in filter floss. I often will do that as well, just to trap even more stuff. But this thing going together like that, you really can't beat it. Here is the return here. Now, what's interesting about this particular filter is you have a lot of options when it comes to the returns. So, one, you can use this. This is a Venturi system. Oops, probably should hold it the right way. And so it will sit, and then it will give some more oxygen to your tank. You have a uni and multi-directional flow knob as well, so if you wanted to use the unidirectional, that's here. And this will also allow for the Venturi system, so it's got that little top right there. And then you've got the multi-directional flow, so you can point this thing wherever you want and get the water flowing in your tank based on where you want it to flow. And then finally, I'll do this with just a couple of hands here. You have these two pieces. Let me put this filter down. You have these two pieces right here, and this is actually a little spray bar. So this is nice. This will just hook in just like that. This sits in right here, and it will give you a spray bar feature. So really cool filter. Now, the other thing is, you're probably wondering, well, how does this sit in the tank? There is a magnet here. This magnet is fairly strong. That's the sign of a good magnet. And this just clips right to the back or the side of your aquarium. This cord, it's like 7.5 feet long, so that's really awesome. You're gonna have a nice long cord, plenty of filtration. So the nice thing about this is, one, you're not looking at a sponge filter, and so for a lot of people, they don't want to see a sponge filter in their aquarium. This is just going to blend. 2, it's going to be the quietest filter on the market because everything sits inside the tank. And so this thing, you're not going to hear any water noise, you're not going to hear any bubbling or anything like that. Now, some of you may like that, but this is not going to do that for you. So that's actually a good thing if you want a very quiet filter. 3, it's going to be self-priming, which means if the power goes out, you get a power blip. Unlike some of your external canister filters, unlike some of your hang-on backs, if the power goes out or you've done a water change, now you've got to fill the back of the hang-on back, or you got to prime your external canister filter again. As long as this thing's in the water, you're going to be in good shape. The power outages, power blips, water changes, they're not really going to matter. Also, you can choose to put this filter in vertically or horizontally, and so really easy to hide, right? That's not true of all filters, where if you put this towards the bottom, like so, and you have this shooting out, it might be able to stir up some of the stuff on the substrate and then suck it back in and trap it. That is a very nice feature. It will do the same if you put it this way as well. Again, these filters have a lot of mechanical filtration capacity. Once again, this is a filter, the 320. That's the one I'm showing you here. It's good for up to around a 20-gallon tank. They have a smaller version of this as well that's good for up to 13-gallon tank. And so for those of you who are looking for an even smaller filter, and you've got that 8-gallon, that 10-gallon, we get asked that all the time. Definitely try the 240 because the 240 is going to be even smaller than this. In fact, it has one less compartment and it's just a smaller overall footprint, a little bit less flow, will work out really great for those smaller tanks. Now, what we're gonna do, of course, is this is an unboxing, initial review. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this on a 20-gallon tank. I'm gonna show you what it looks like, show you the flow. We'll put the different attachments on, and then after that, I'll give you my final thoughts. And of course, as always, in around a year or so, we'll come back to this thing and we'll talk about the long-term impact that this has had in our fish room. All right, so right now we've got this thing in the aquarium and it's stirring up some stuff. It's got a decent amount of flow, and so the duckweed that was on the top of the tank, obviously that is starting to float around. So here's another thing too. Right now I've got the directional return on there right now, and I have it actually pointed down and kind of towards the front. I put this thing in the front of the aquarium, obviously because I want you to be able to see it. This is a 20-gallon long. There's mostly nanofish here, some rummy nose rasboras, some galaxy rasboras. By the way, if you want species profiles on these fish, check out the description below, upper right-hand corner. I'll put those in there for you. But this has just got one sponge filter. It's a planted tank, a lot of small fish, a lot of duckweed in this tank. So one of the things that this filter will probably do is duckweed hates flow. So if I were to take this return, which right now is pointed this way, and point it up towards the top, now what I'm getting is you're going to see a lot of duckweed, a lot of hornwort starting to fly around. Duckweed hates flow. And so if you want to be able to control it a little bit, not have as much flying around your tank, this is the way to do it. I am sure if I leave that return pointed towards the top for a few days, I'm going to have duckweed starting to go away. That might not all be gone, but you're definitely going to get some of it that is not going to be there. All right, now for demonstration purposes, I know this looks kind of silly, but I've got that little Venturi system hose sticking out of the top. You can see now, I think, hopefully it's coming through on camera as well as it is in real life, but we're getting more air bubbles in the aquarium. So one of the things, when you're running a canister filter, whether it's internal or external, you don't necessarily, unless you point that return towards the top, have a ton of surface agitation. Now we do here because I pointed that return towards the surface of the aquarium, but if you want to add a little bit more air, then you go ahead and you add that little tube to the return, and it's going to give you some air bubbles. Nothing huge and nothing excessive. It's not like some of those systems where it completely fills up your tank full of these microscopic air bubbles. And you're like, well, this actually doesn't look very good. And you can make an argument it's not super healthy for the fish, but this is a reasonable amount and something that is not going to overwhelm the tank. All right, I wanted to show you the next attachment, and right now I actually have it sticking out of the water, and that is the spray bar. Again, tons of surface agitation here. If you like that water trickle flow, I'm sure you can hear it here. And by the way, sorry for all the sponge filters. This is an active quarantine fish room, so I can't turn those off with some of the tanks that we have so heavily stocked. But the water is now coming out of the top here, and you can obviously, I can push this filter down, and so now I don't have that same amount of noise, and I'm still getting a spray bar. I actually think this might be my favorite attachment of all of them because you're getting a wider distribution of water return. And again, if you want, and you want to have a little bit more surface agitation right now, again, I've got that thing set right at the top of the aquarium, and it is, again, just like I said before, your duckweed, right now, all my duckweed now is pushed towards the corner where the sponge filter is. And I could see a situation where you don't have duckweed completely covering the top of your tank. Those 3 compartments are absolutely plenty for up to a 20-gallon tank. And you can see here we're getting good flow. This is a 20 long. This is pretty much, like I said, the maximum that they recommend for this filter. Could you put it in a 29? I think so. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. But one of the things that this filter does so well is that mechanical filtration. All right, everyone, so the filter is on the tank. I'm going to do a long-term follow-up around 10 or 12 months from now. This is just an unboxing, initial thoughts. But if you are looking for a filter that is going to stay inside the tank and be ultra quiet, not have the potential to put water on the floor, not super visible. By the way, you can actually get more of these compartments, so you can customize this, make it even larger, add another compartment for more filter floss if you want to. If you've got an even smaller tank, somewhere around 5 to 12 gallons, check out that Shark 250. We have one in the fish room right now. I'll be talking about that at some point in the future. This thing does come with a 5-year warranty. Now, as of the making of this video, they are not readily available yet. As soon as they are, go down to the description. I'll have an affiliate link down there for you. Price-wise, again, I don't know the prices just yet because this thing, as the making of this video, is probably still 4 to 6 weeks away from being made and available for you. But these Sicce sharks are really, really nice filters. They do an awesome job of mechanical and biological filtration. You could put in some chemical filtration if you want as well. Would love to hear from you if you have used the Sicce internal canister filters. What were your thoughts? Really appreciate you being here. We'll see you in the next one.